0981.
On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag LockerRoom981. And on YouTube, we're streaming live. So please go on there to see what's going on in the studio and even get to, getting on the action behind the scenes.
Yes, confusion has trailed the possibility of extending Super Eagles coach Gernot Raw's contract by the Nigeria Football Federation. Raw's contract would end on the in 22 June precisely, and it was expected that negotiations should have commenced between the coach and his employer, the NFF. But on Thursday, there were reports that no negotiation had held or was holding between Raw and the NFF. Though Raw earlier said he was not in a rush to make a decision over his future with the Eagles. The correspondent gathered that he's been approached by other countries, amongst whom are the Democratic Republic of Congo and Cameroon. But then, when Ademola Olajire, who's the spokesperson for the NFF, was asked, this is what he said in replying, responding to claims that the federation may not renew Ross' contract. And NFF has said no such thing. Let the speculators have a field day.
Okay. Denials by June 2022. We will know. But what it is that there's obviously a discord between Gernot Raw and his employers right now. And I don't know what the precise bone of contention was or is that started it, but because of all the other countries that are approaching in, and you know, it's one thing for somebody to be trying to woo you, it's another thing for you to be dancing to the beat of their drum.
Yep.
So there were questions raised. Why, despite the fact you are in a contract, are you listening to other suitors or other people that are coming to meet you? So there are those questions, and then there's a question of they owed me salary for 1 month. No, it was half a month. No, it has already been paid. So there's obviously drama going on between the NFF and their manager, their current manager. But there is still a lot of time for a contract to be agreed to and to be signed between now and June 2022. Why this is making rounds is because there is noise that Gernot Raw may be leaving soon. I guess that's why these questions are being raised, because June 2022, I know it's all the way far away. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to start talking now. They can start talking next year.
Yep.
But because of all the drama and all the approaches, legal and illegal, then these questions are coming up. What we need to know is, what is the settlement? We need to know the way forward. Coach Thomas Enapi of Super Falcons, that's how he woke up one morning and he left. And the Super Falcons camp was thrown into disarray because according to Denapi, there were politics being played behind his back, and his team was going to be chosen for him, and drama. We ended up not qualifying for the Olympics. This is the Super Eagles now. This is the big fish. You don't need that drama here. So I guess a resolution needs to be heard, or there needs to be some peace talks or something. But what is left to be seen is that there's drama and somebody needs to put out the fire.
But wouldn't it affect players' morale?
Of course, that's exactly what we're talking about. Again, but like I said, because there's nothing formal, we can only whisper. Speculate.
And you know what they say about Chinese whispers?
Exactly.
Sometimes.
And have a field day, like Ademola has told us to have a field day.
All right, let's move on to some tennis. Alexander Zverev can go deep at the ATP finals in London, according to Nicolas Kiefer. So Zverev has the ability to defend his title at the ATP finals in London, according to former world number 4 Nicolas Kiefer. Zverev joined Federer's Team 8 management company earlier this year, and the move is seen as a positive stepping stone for the 22-year-old. Now, according to Kiefer, he said, Zverev has known what he has to work on, and signing that deal with Roger's company has been good for him. Now he can focus on his tennis, and he's still a top 8 player, remember. So he's part of the ATP finals in London.
So, like I suspected, Roger has his eye on some of the young ones, and such as Zverev is one of them. Again, yes, signing that contract with Roger's team 8 management is a big deal, especially because of the fact that Roger is there. The clothes, he can get tips, and like I always say, such as Zverev will have a bad season and then go to the Lava Cup and then come out and beat the top 3 players in the world. That's what usually happens. So last year he went to the ATP Tour Finals in London and he won it, uh, defeating all the names,
All the great.
all the great names that showed up for the tournament. And this year looks to be another year. The question is now, can he defend his title? Of course, there is a Nadal that is not in full form. There is also Djokovic, who, well, his form is interesting. He's in and out of form month to month, so it's not, you can't tell exactly how long he's going to stay like that. And then, of course, there's Roger Federer, whom Sasha Zverev defeated recently. So, but Sasha Zverev himself hasn't had a very fantastic season.
Okay.
But he can carry that form, that threat in this tournament that will make him the winner. So the question is, what has he learned in the past few months, and how is he going to deliver? So we wait to see what if the defending champion can hold on to his title. But rest assured that Novak Djokovic is gunning for it. Nadal has taken that number 1 spot. Novak Djokovic just needs something to end the season in top form, and I'm sure it's not going to let this go. So let's see what this teammate management will do for Sasha Zverev. But what it is clear about is that Roger is interested in this boy's career and is going to be part of it maybe in the future.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's take a few comments. I love the comments this morning. There, Tega, just sit down. No, you need to sit down. Let me read them out
You're
to
not
you.
allowed to see.
So,
Josh
says, Smooth FM has the best female sports analyst on and off air. I stop my car to listen to her anytime she's on air. So please, even if it sounds like a different career, please give her the proper accolades anytime she's on air. You can do better. You are getting there. Well done, Tega. I stand.
Thank you,
So that's
Josh.
to you, Val. And then well, Tolu says, yeah, that hype is getting better, Val. Our great Tega. Okay, says it's getting better, but you're not there too yet.
And I am nearing it.
Then Olufemi Omotai says, who wants to disrupt our qualification program with this raw matter now? Going back to the first story.
We like politics in this country. Just leave us.
Midfielder Giorgino admits belief that within the squad is so high. It's actually struggling to remember the last time that he thought they would lose. He said that will be tested to the limits live on Sunday when defending champions Manchester City arrive at Anfield, looking to halve the 6-point lead Liverpool held over them at the top of the table. Difficult is what he described it as. He said, we just create that thing that we know will always turn around or turn things around. We always have that feeling. Stay positive. That's also because of the results we had until now and the way we came back.
Yes. So now they have a belief. Even when they're down, they seem to. I would say this: a match like Liverpool Aston Villa from last season is one of those matches they would have lost naturally. But this season they tend to be getting points even in those matches that are supposed to be tough. And they play till the 97th minute if they're given that. And that's what makes it hard for teams to beat them, because they're consistently and persistently pushing and pressing, and eventually they get goals. And because of that positive run of results that they have been getting, their belief has increased, their confidence has increased, and this season they just even when it looks like it's over for Liverpool, they are back in it somehow. The take of Manchester City weekend, Manchester City is looking to try and halve the 6-point gap between the both teams at the top of the table, and Liverpool is saying, the Liverpool players are saying, I can't remember when last we thought of losing a single game. That's the thought hasn't crossed our mind. Not to talk of the thing happening in real life. So if we haven't even had it in the back of our minds, you can imagine how high our confidence is, how high our belief is, and add that to the form that we are in. It makes us very difficult for anybody to beat, especially Manchester City, that has lost 2 matches now against sides that you didn't even think they were going to lose against. So it's going to be a tough one, yes, for Manchester City this weekend, especially because of the way they struggled and they've labored to score goals here and there. And then for playing against a Liverpool side that is, like I said, in form and have great belief in themselves. This week has been a distraction of Sadio Mane and Pep Guardiola going at it each other. Guardiola is like, Sadio Mane dives, and Mane is like, well, I'll dive to get a penalty if I have to. So at the end of the day, there is already that in the waters, and then there's the ugly stats for Manchester City at Anfield with Kevin De Bruyne saying, we don't care about stats, we're going to set new records this time. So there's a lot of, there's ambition from the Manchester City side, but there is also belief in the Liverpool side, and they're playing at home and everything seems to be going right for them. It just sets up for an interesting match.
Yeah.
What I don't want is that after all this hype, or Sunday, when I start saying, I don't want to see any tactical football. I don't care whether you have to bring sitting on the sidelines of as your manager. Don't give me tactical football. I want end-to-end stuff, goals. I want to enjoy this match. I don't care about reading your mind or looking at your brain walking on the pitch. That's not going to impress me much, because there's been so much banter back and forth. It better evolve into drama on the pitch. Because if it's just one further match where I have to be thinking hard to see, I will not be very happy. But what it is, it does set up for an interesting one. I still think that Liverpool can take the day this weekend. But again, it's football, so
anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
All right, so let's talk about Aaron Ramsey, who's apologized to Cristiano Ronaldo after pinching record-breaking goal. So Ramsey admits he apologized to Ronaldo after inadvertently nipping in to deny him another Champions League goal-scoring record. Here's what he said: I thought the keeper was a lot closer to me and I had a chance of diving back and maybe clearing. So my instinct took over to make sure that he went over the line, but I apologized to Cristiano.
What a waste of an apology. If you could just teach that to your former teammate, Granny Chaka, then all will be well. But what it is that goal, Cristiano Ronaldo's free kick did look like it was going in the Champions League game on Wednesday. It did look like it was going to cross the line. Whether it was strolling to cross the line or it was catwalking to cross the line, it definitely was going to cross the line before the goalkeeper went there. Right. That's how Aaron Ramsey, with his busybody, now went to just push it, help it over the line. He was already going there, now went to push it, and then now took the goal for Cristiano Ronaldo. I understand how annoying that could be, and especially as Juventus struggled against Lokomotiv Moscow for the rest of the game and then managed to win it with one fantastic run from Douglas Costa in the last minute. But it must have been upsetting to Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's the kind of guy, like I said, he doesn't just come onto the pitch and say, we're going to win it. He's like, we're going to win it and I will be the star of the show. That I will be the star of the show is more important to him than that or all that drama of we are going to win it. That we are going to win it is so that if he's the star of the show and then they end up losing, he may not make front pages. So he's that kind of guy. He likes to get on the pitch, and he said it several times. I get on the pitch and I want to be the best player there. So you now take his crowning glory moment because you were doing busybody. Exactly. I too know. Aaron Ramsey brought his I too know from Arsenal to just come and collect Cristiano Ronaldo's shine. But of course, at the end of the day, with Sarri, my question is, did we win? Yes. End of discussion. But with some players like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's pumping in goals is record breaking. It adds to his numbers, and those numbers are incredible. And yes, when he sees those numbers, it's like, okay, I'm the best player in the world. Then Aaron Ramsey did something really hard there. But the question, if I were the one giving the goals, I would say this: was the ball going in? It was already going in. Why are we? I mean, it was literally on the line that Ramsey just pushed it over. It's not like it was going out and then Ramsey redirected.
He probably thought contact would stop him somehow, or stop the ball somehow.
He thought a blade of grass was going to pop up and stop it.
Somehow.
He's been watching too many cartoons.
If you have some magnetic force, you just hold the ball back. All right, let's take a break. That's one thing we believe in. Pay bills. We'll be back with more stories inside of the locker room. Stay with us.
That's so
crazy.
Wake up.
I'm telling you, you're so tired. I'm so happy. I'm having breakfast with Shopware. Let me wake her up.
Oh, really? Well done.
She's an amazing person. And you people are terrible people. Oh, you're not a terrible person. Okay, it's only bad as a terrible person.
Thank you. I like that compliment.
Huh? I feel so privileged.
Because if she talks to me, if I talk to her anyhow, I may not have MC for LIS.
So privileged to be in your good books. I'm your good
She's
book
butchering you up
lady.
because of
No,
No,
Ayo
of course I
is a
know.
wonderful sister-in-law. Well, that's what I'm saying to everybody. Ayo is a wonderful sister-in-law.
Yeah, so Isoko meant for the win.
She does a lot of good things,
Thank you.
you know, for
Thank
her
you.
sister.
Thank
Psych.
you.
I don't talk, love this Val, nothing. Ayo does
Psych.
things for me. I can call Ayo in the middle of the night and she wants something. I kid you not. However, Ayo, why didn't you answer my call yesterday?
I was sleeping.
Exactly. There goes the call in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because I was sleeping.
Because she was sleeping
If I
though.
were
If she were
I would
awake,
call
she'll
her
take
back.
it. And then she'll say, oh yes, let
Night
me work
man
on
for
it.
sleeping, innit?
She's amazing.
Thank you, Jerry. Don't mind that.
The Val is just hating because it's not useful.
And I'm
If
going
it's
to know football more than you. I'm going to know sport more than
Ayo is going
Good
to
luck
host the
with
show
that.
on Monday.
Oh, that's true. It's on Monday.
Why is this girl taking my picture? Image
you.
right.
Monday.
Image
It's
right.
not
Image
19.
right. I don't have makeup on. You're spoiling my brand.
Valentine's phone.
I love
creates
this
makeup.
outfit.
Ah,
Who
okay,
made this
okay.
outfit for you?
It is me.
It's Tega.
We'll Colgate sponsor me because I have
Who is
white
this?
teeth.
One guy.
And how much does it collect for this?
I can't say.
It's very nice
Very
actually.
expensive.
Is it expensive?
Of course it is.
What's wrong with the guy? He's not all this
For
quickly
him
bead.
to bead like this.
He's not this bead,
Tell
quickly
me that
bead.
is what I would have loved for Rise to bead my outfit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always look for it. So do you know how long it takes to bead? And this one is not stone. It's not that he's stone. It's just iron.
I know what you mean. What
Ah,
you.
it's always expensive.
So, chef, what I heard.
Ah, thank God you are
Hey,
back.
are you talking about Ti's
Thank God
Ti's
you're back. Me and
interview?
There was a day.
Maybe we should
There was a
talk
day.
about
You
that
should talk about
I
T.I.'s
didn't
interview.
find our topic until I said, dun, 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 dun.
It's a lie.
What's the
Telling
topic
you.
today?
Ti is the best
No.
topic.
Valentine is not ready for that.
Oh, look at Tega. Lakumi should be taking your picture. Let me show you your picture.
No, Locking is very good.
Lakumi,
No, it's not all that. So. I was just
It's
thinking.
beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful with my scattered hair.
Oh,
Let me
it's
see.
so lovely.
Oh, I love it.
It's so bright
Give me-
and
send
lovely.
this one to
This
me.
one you should be using for our first.
I'll check.
It would increase.
Send
You know
me
what-
this
you know what
picture.
Locking
And I
is
want to
doing?
post
What?
this.
She has now understood light. Light is.
Yes.
Hey.
This one cannot hear photography. You went
Yeah, you have to break it down.
Okay,
I bet
it's
send
not
me the
from me.
picture.
Locking
I
is
get
tell
your
them.
point.
But just send me the
She's
picture.
married. How would she not know it? She's like saying I cannot sing.
You can't sing.
You can't sing, Ayo. Baba, it's the talent sexually transmitted. It's the talent sexually transmitted.
Like saying I cannot sing. This people should be
What are you talking about? I'll just go like
me
now and
sing, let
marry
me
somebody.
sing,
that
let me
can
sing.
sing.
No,
Sing.
Cannot come and compare yourself. So find your Luca today. And wake up feeling
let the show
good.
finish.
And
No,
ready
I don't want-
Let me sing.
I don't want anything that
Let me
spoil my
get on
mood.
now. I'm going to sing.
I don't want nothing to spoil my mood. No.
Myron will call on this one and say you need to stop.
Get your running shoes ready.
I'll do concert and headline you, or you'll be shocked.
Sorry, our next story. Bayern Munich, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will headline a concert. You guys will be very shocked.
In the dream, okay?
About how many? 4.
Sorry, okay.
It's gonna be all time. Who is doing that?
Okay, we're back on in
I like your Nigerian one, but
15 seconds, guys. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4. Mics are up. 3, 2. We're glad to have you back. Join us here for the Locker Room 981. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smooth 981 FM Lagos. On WhatsApp 080944400981.
YouTube Smooth 981. Please search for us there, and on Twitter it's at Smooth 981 FM. Use the hashtag Locker Room 981. Olufemi Motaya says, really a waste of apology by Ramsey. Ronaldo will still get his record soon, although I understand his frustration.
On WhatsApp, we have this one from Bosun. Bosun says, here we go again. Val with all the hype that he won't keep up. Next week, if he pays, if pay does not drop now, he'll be like, and join us is tech.
He needs to be consistent.
She hasn't paid the invoice for today's one.
Chidoze says, Ghana Ross says he's not in a rush to negotiate for a contract extension. I bet him the NFF is never in a rush to get anything done. They like the fire brigade approach.
All right.
And then, as usual, they shamelessly want to end it with Raw again. The way is never changing. Long and short of all this is that there will be another bitter finish to something that could be made more beautiful. I'm not even going to act surprised, but I'm surely angry and disappointed once again in the Nigerian system. Thanks for the memories, Mr. Raw. Steve from Kano.
All right. Tayo here says Ronaldo with the assist and for Ramsey's goal, let him console himself if he's not done something similar. Case settled. Bayern Munich discussed the potential of ex-Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger taking over the German club, but have decided to pursue other options. The club confirmed the decision to German outlets Bild, saying, and I quote, Arsene Wenger called Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, thank you very much, on Wednesday afternoon, and signaled his fundamental interest in the position at Bayern. FC Bayern highly values Arsene Wenger's work at Arsenal, but he's not an option to become head coach at FC Bayern.
Okay, the first deal breaker was that Arsene Wenger refused to take a short-term contract. We should understand that the guy was in one club for 20-something years.
Yeah.
So you cannot be telling him that you should come and take a 2 months because he's not there. It's not about that business. It's not about that life. But the first thing was they wanted him to try and take the club to the end of the season, and then from there they can negotiate if they wanted a long-term contract or anything else based on what they saw. And the guy was like, I'm not spring chicken. People can't be calling me for tryouts. It's like, you think about it, that Manchester United maybe, or Manchester City wanted to buy Messi, they'll say Messi come for trial. A whole Messi. Do you understand? Arsene Wenger was like, a whole me that I'm not just a manager on the pitch and a manager on the stock market, and people are doing me anyhow. But bottom line, they couldn't agree on that, and that was a deal breaker for them. So it wasn't anything about his tactical abilities, or it was just the beginning and the end of the deal. Started with that, you will handle the team to the end of the season, and then we'll talk from there. Wenger was like, nah, I don't do contracts. Make me a permanent staff or no deal. And ended up with no deal. So Bayern Munich are still in the hunt. If you have any names,
please,
you can forward them.
Do you know who I am?
Who I
No,
be?
but honestly, why would you treat Wenger like that? Anyways, Inter Napoli under pressure as Juventus take on ailing AC Milan. Inter Milan and Napoli return to the Serie A fray at a disappointing week of European football for the Italian giants, as leaders Juventus looked to pull clear after punching their ticket to the Champions League last 16. A win over struggling AC Milan would allow Juventus to keep ahead of Inter, who hosts mid-table Verona after the 3-2 Champions League defeat by Borussia Dortmund.
All right, so it's the Italian Serie A, 1 point between Inter Milan and Juventus, and this weekend Juventus face AC Milan. But this is not my story. Opayami Imoru, blow them away.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, definitely. It's on the paper, it's looking like a big match, which it is. But recently, Inter Milan have not been up to standard. But we shouldn't forget that Juventus and Inter Milan, they are the most titled club in Italian Serie A. So, having said that, I think Juve is going to come out all along, and it's looking like Cristiano Ronaldo might not be playing due to he was substituted at the Champions League due to tie and what looks like a knee injury, but it's not yet confirmed. It's looking like, and Inter Milan, having lost in the Champions League, coming back, they're hosting Verona, and it's looking like it's going to be a win for them. And Juventus have to win this match. Is a must win for them. The AC Milan coach have not been doing well of recent. Stefan Pioli, he has not been doing well, having won just 3 matches in so many games. So it's not all good for them. And I think Juventus is going to carry the day.
You think they'll carry the day?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Opayami. I have a next story here.
Our next story would either make you laugh or cry. But when you think about it, really, it's something you should focus on. This one is about Socrates. Now, I don't even bother with the second name, but Socrates...
Let me do it.
What?
Socrates Papastatopoulos.
Almost beat your tongue. Well done.
Listen, is welcome. My brother is really trying. My brother is trying something.
All right, let's do it again. So Socrates...
Papastatopoulos.
Right. He believes the Arsenal captaincy is not important, as the fallout from Granit Xhaka has been stripped off the armband continues. According to Socrates, he was quoted as saying the captaincy or who has this on the pitch, I don't think it's very important. It's important that all the team is good in the dressing room. We are like a family. In the end, who brings the pitch, the captaincy is the last thing. When he was asked about Aubameyang, if he was like a leader, Socrates added, I don't know. I think it's the first time he's a captain. For me, it's more important that Aubameyang first has to score. He has to do the work. He's a
Okay.
very good guy, but I already said something. Who has the captaincy is not important.
That's a fat lie from the pit of
I was
hell.
going to say what?
And you
I know
can
it's
exactly, and you can tell that that's where the struggle with Arsenal. Like I've said before, countless and okay, let me finish my sentence. That's where the struggle with Arsenal is. And like I've said before, and countless times, Arsenal's problem is not always down to quality of the talent. It is the character of the players and the mentality. If you come into the pitch and you believe that come on the pitch and you believe that you don't need leadership, then that's the beginning of your problem. You do need that. Your leadership gives structure, gives discipline, and if he's a good leader and like the likes of Patrick Vieira and the rest, it gives inspiration and instruction. So because the manager is not on the pitch, he can tell you what to do when it's on the sidelines, but when you get on the pitch and things starts to go all right, that's where the captain steps in. And so if you are saying that role is not important enough, then we have a problem already. And so that's my struggle with Socrates, is that the players not understand the psychological impact. They just keep thinking if we kick the ball around a few times, it may get into the back of the net and we win the game. And that's where the biggest problem is. It matters who wears the captain's armband. Is he the kind of person that can give instructions? Is he bold enough to say do this and don't do that? Is he bold enough to correct? Or is he just wearing the captain's armband because he can wear it? I've always had a struggle with forward players being the captain, especially out and out strikers like Aubameyang, because they're all the way up there. They can only yell pass me the ball, but their instruction cannot go all the way down. I prefer, if you ask me, a midfielder where he's giving shape to the team, or maybe a defender. But strikers generally tend to, captain like they play selfishly. So I have a struggle with it. I think of some of my best players. I struggled when they're captain, like Thierry Henry. I can't understand how he can be a captain. Like Raul of Real Madrid. I can't understand how those, because the forward players, their mind is towards the goal. What's happening behind them can be a struggle. Yeah.
When you mentioned Vieira, I actually went to do a quick search on him to see what he's been up to. Do you think he could possibly or potentially ever coach Arsenal?
Well, I can't see the future. My calabash is not working. However, what it is that he's building his CV, and he's not doing badly where he is. So if he builds his CV to the point where his name ever comes up in a conversation, then he may have a shoe in based on his history. It'll be fun. It'll be fantastic. But what it is right now is that he's not there yet. So stay where you are. So Arsenal, and what makes this trip even more tricky, especially with all the drama, is that Arsenal is facing Leicester City. Leicester City are in fantastic form. They're third on the log. They've been winning game after game. And if you remember the season that they went all the way to win the EPL, you will not write them off to holding that spot. I'm not talking of winning the EPL now, but to staying in top four with the form that they're going in. So it doesn't seem to be a good time for Arsenal, considering the fact that they can't even win a game against Victoria. Just hold on to a lead. You have only 10 minutes to play. The other time,
Arsenal are full of surprises.
They always surprise us and give away last minute goals. and the other time, he was to hold a lead for 1 minute against Liverpool. They gave it. They're leaking in goals, and the likes of Jamie Vardy will just be licking their lips at this Socrates. You don't like leadership, Abby? Wait till I put the ball in the back of the net. So it's a tough one all round, but let's see how they handle this pressure.
All right, let's see how they handle this pressure. Olumide Adeni says that Wenger is unrealistic. Does he actually expect a 5-year contract at his current age? Come to think of it, what was his achievements in the last 3 years at Arsenal? Besides, Bayern is a far more bigger club than Arsenal. Then he says, guys, Hindick was offered such short-time contracts at Chelsea, and he's equally a world-class coach. Bayern can't afford to gamble.
Well, thank you very much, Tega. Check out at Tega Supreme at LIS International, just so you'll be updated before the conference gets to us here next week, Ladies in Sports Conference. And special thanks to you, Opeyemi, for stepping in during the show. Ayo and Val, we have a question for you, and we have tickets, vouchers, food vouchers to give away in the 9 o'clock hour. So stay with us. It's Feel Good Friday after all.
I'm hungry now. Okay. Yeah, I was going to actually give a shout out. I'll do it at 9 o'clock to all the people that I met at Wimby's who were like, "Oh, I just listened to you this morning. I just